Hello YouTubers, you're watching Just Do It Yourself channel, and today we have 2012 Dodge Grand Caravan, and the issue is that the temperature selector on the right does not work. So when the HVAC got stuck on hot, so it doesn't matter if we put it on cold or hot, we still get hot air coming from the passenger side. So we will do some troubleshooting and then fix the issue, so stay tuned. So we'll start with reading the codes. So we have Autel Maxicom scanner, so we will read the codes and see what's happening on the back end. So from this point we will go to hot functions, I believe, and we will try to find HVAC tests. I don't see it here, so we will go into the diagnosis and go to auto scan. We'll just scan all the modules. So there are a few codes, and we want to go into our HVAC. We'll read codes. Rear temperature, door travel range too small, and right temperature door travel too small. So we have two codes stored. I didn't know about the issue at the back, but I know for sure there is the issue with the right blend door. After that, we will try to do this. We'll go to special functions. Maybe actually active tests. Never mind, it's system check. So if you go to system check, there is actuator calibration test. This test will move all the HVAC doors to their full travel limits to determine the travel span of each individual door. So we will do this test. In this minivan, it's dual zone control. In addition, there are third zone at the back, so there are quite a few of different blend doors. So we can see that test is happening because this is blinking, and sometimes when the door fail on your car, this will be blinking too. So that can give you a sign that you have a bad door actuator. So the test is still in progress, and we can hear all those doors opening and closing right now at the front, and now it's starting at the back. All right, so we have flags, which door passed and which one did not. And at this point, all the door passed. And the issue with our right and rear is that sometimes it would work, sometimes it would not. So there is something happening inside of that actuator. So we'll go ahead and replace those. In odd days, it would work just fine. Other time, doesn't matter how much I try to turn the switch on off, it doesn't move, it gets stuck on hot. So we will go ahead and replace those door actuators. All right, so we are on a passenger side, and we will need to remove the glove box. Before we remove the door, we need to take this black strap. It's like a shock. Let it open slowly. Remove that, and then just push this in, pull it down, and then just remove from those hinges. You'll see two are pointing down, one is pointing up, so we need to be careful about that. Don't break those. Put it aside. Okay, so next we will basically try to show you where are those blend doors and mode door. So this is the mode door actuator. So basically this decides where the air goes. Does it go down to your feet? Does it go to the windshield, or it's combined? So if you have issues with those, this is your friend that needs to be replaced over here. The actually mode. Either that's hot, sorry, not the mode, but the blender. So blending the cold and hot air. You will see it if you look directly into this gap just over there. So we will access it from underneath. So we'll go ahead and pull this liner off. So let's see, so there are a few screws that we need to remove before it can go down. Alright, so there are 2 screws that we will get out. Just Phillips screwdriver was, I think, 7 mil. You can just use a regular screwdriver to get this accomplished. There is one more. This one is hard to see. So get this out too. Now this liner. And there are a few clips that we'll need to remove too. So there's one plastic clip over here, and another one on the right hand side respectively. Okay, so now this can come out. Okay, I tried to find the right camera angle, but basically at this point we need to remove this door actuator, and we will probably start with wiring. So we will push this red clip out, then press and push the connector out. Next, there are 3 T20 screws that holding it in place. So you'll have 1/4 inch ratchet, and we will just go there with T20 bit and get those removed. As I said, there are 3 of those. Some of them are more accessible, the others less. So one is out. Now we'll go to the top one. It's not out all the way, so I'll probably just pull the ratchet off and we'll just use the Torx socket to get the rest out. So that screws out. Oh, actually just 2. Okay, so this is the old actuator. So it sits in a car like this, and we removed those 2 screws. There was nothing for this one. And the part number is M8679001, and this is 2012, so this is original part. The replacement is over here, so it looks very similar. 2-pin. So now one thing that we need to make sure is that the actuator is in the right position. So you can see there's one bigger gap on both. So this one is pointing this way while this one is pointing completely opposite way. So before we put it in, we need to make sure that they are in the same position. So when I removed my original one, the door was set into cold position. It seems like this one is set to the hot position. So since this actuator is working, I can, one option, put this one back in temporarily, crank it to hot, this will move, and it will move the door position itself. If your actuator is not working and it is stuck in a cold position, you will actually need to move the door itself manually, just reaching out to the levers under the dash and move it into appropriate position. Okay, let's see how we can do that. Let's assume that the old actuator is not working at all. So we would come here, this is the door, and we just push it all the way down. So now technically it should align, and we'll give it a try. Alright, let's give it a try. So we take the new actuator, and basically we want to try to put it in the same position how the original was. So like just like this, and it actually seems like it fitted well. So we'll take our T20 screws. We'll start with the easy one at the bottom. And since we know that the door went into cold position, we will do what I should have said hot position. So we will change the temperature on the controller to hot while we remember, so the car is not confused when it's calibrating. So then we install the top screw. I hope that camera angle is good. But I'm trying to show that you need to get those mounting screws back on. Oh, come on. Haven't got it in yet. The worst part about this job is that you need to be on your knees. Okay, I got it started, both of them. You want to be gentle when you use ratchet. This is just plastic thread, so don't need to put too much pressure. You can probably use even a little screwdriver. So next we will plug the wiring back in. Which could be a challenge on its own. And then press this. And you can see that it started to calibrate right away. So now let's test it. Okay, we got the ignition on. And we will do this. Next we will scan for codes and test. So we will run another test that will confirm if we install everything correctly. Okay, so another test that we can do is basically turn your control hot and cold and check if the door is moving, so you can see that little piece over there is going up or down. So this is working. So now when we're looking at a test, actuator 2 right temperature calibration passed flag false. And that's what I was the most afraid of. So what I'm seeing with these vehicles, if you use aftermarket actuator, normally the calibration test fails. It might have different impact on your system. Sometimes it, like this, would be blinking for a while every time you start the vehicle, trying to calibrate it all the time, which is very annoying because your HVAC is not working for like a minute. We will probably give this a try because we got aftermarket part, and we will see how it behaves. If it's causing that HVAC delay issue every time we start the vehicle, we might need to get original part. I had this issue before and it happened again. It was the aftermarket part. So as I said, we will give this a try, see how it behaves. The new part is like 120 bucks versus 30 the old one. While you're here, it's a good idea to change your cabin air filter. I have removed this cover just to give you a bit of a version on that sensor, but basically you come here, you press one, press the other one, pull this off, and then you get your cabin air filter out. This one is quite bad, so we'll get this replaced. Okay, so next we'll need to get that cover back on. So we will start with the front, with those clips that will hold it in place. And then we have those two Phillips screws. This. Okay, somehow I managed to lose one of the screws. So we will go with the one for now. Okay. This is done. Right, next we will install the glove box door. So again, just need to be careful with those hinges and the directions. And then we take this little shock tensioner and install it from the outside like that. And then we press both sides in, and that should be it. So we will monitor. If it doesn't give us trouble down the road, we will keep it. If not, we will need to get the original part. We'll see if the used one is an option. But I know that this has been an issue for me before. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. And as always, just do it yourself.